We are now 7 years old. I think the process of thinking about MEGACEBU probably started about 9 or 10 years ago. And at that time, we realized that there were certain looming problems in Metro Cebu. And of course, the number one issue that in fact galvanized the business community, as well as its partners, and even many of the major LGUs, was traffic. And this was 9 or 10 years ago. Well, if you look at today, we're still immersed in traffic. Probably drowning in traffic is probably the right term. Last year, 180,000 motorcycles went on the streets, new motorcycles went on the streets of Metro Cebu. Over 30 or 40,000 vehicles. And last year was the highest ever year for vehicular sales throughout the Philippines. And of course, obviously, about 10% landed in Metro Cebu. And what has this created? Basically, this has created a decrease in competitiveness in Metro Cebu. And when you decrease competitiveness in a particular place, you decrease foreign investment. You decrease local investment. And if you decrease investment, you decrease the ability of a place to create jobs for its people. You may not be aware, but Cebu has one of the highest incidences of poverty in the Philippines. I think we're the 3rd or 4th highest in terms of poverty, in spite of the apparent wealth that you see around you every day. In MEGACEBU, we are trying to create a spirit of collaboration precisely to solve these problems that we are facing in today's very urbanized and very congested MEGACEBU or Metro Cebu. It's been a long road. We have achieved a number of successes, and of course we still have problems. We saw MEGACEBU as a process that divided into short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals. It wasn't meant, or it was never possible to fix problems overnight, but we are working to fix the problems. We are fixing some problems, and we intend to fix more problems. MEGACEBU is here to stay. MEGACEBU will transcend political cycles, and too short political cycles, and that was one of the major objectives of MEGACEBU, to provide consistency and quality and expertise in addressing the urban problems that we face in Metro Cebu. It's still getting worse. Population is growing at a very high pace. Traffic is worsening. We have flooding. Back in the 80s, 7 or 8 places in Cebu City flooded. Today, they're over 128. 70% of all homes don't have adequate septic tanks. When 70% of all homes don't have adequate septic tanks, that means that the waste is leaching into our water system. Whatever waste is pulled out of the septic tanks by the contractors are dumped into the seas and into the rivers. These are unacceptable situations and scenarios for a place that prides itself as a tourist destination. Waste management in Cebu is almost non-existent, and the problem is getting worse. The LGUs today are working hard to overcome this problem, but unfortunately, most of them are in contravention of the laws which they were supposed to be implementing. These need responses, these need solutions. Funnily, if you look at the problems of 10 or 20 years ago, they're the same as they are today. So we have to ask ourselves, what has been done over the last 20 or 30 years when we saw the growth of Cebu booming? Unfortunately, not very much. And that is why MEGACEBU is here today, and that is why MEGACEBU will stay here to 2050 and beyond. MEGACEBU is not unique in the world. There are many, many city collaborations occurring all over the place, in Europe, in Canada, United States, and Japan. It is a model that has worked. People, private sectors, and civil society, and the public sector getting together to collaborate to solve our metro problems. are urbanization problems. Our model, the MEGACEBU model, has become a model also for JPIC-IDC. And they are asking their other city or regional beneficiaries around the world to adopt the MEGACEBU model of public-private cooperation and collaboration based on expert planning, not on politics. We are going to go into detail, over the course of the morning on the achievements or what we have accomplished in MEGACEBU, but I'd like to mention some noteworthy items. The DPWH has been very responsive. We have the team here from Central Office who are working on the flood control and stormwater management project. The DPWH funded the study for the master plan for stormwater and flood control in MEGACEBU. To date, the DPWH has over 3 billion in projects, ongoing and committed projects for floodwater and stormwater management. So thank you very much to our experts from the DPWH. We have to mention JPIC-IDC. Believe it or not, JPIC-IDC has donated, not in cash, but in kind and grants, over 2 billion pesos to the projects of MEGACEBU, starting with the study of MEGACEBU, the development roadmap, up until a 1 billion peso grant for septage management here in MEGACEBU. So JPIC-IDC have been very active and very supportive, and one of their ongoing projects right now, aside from septage management, is also solid waste management. They've just completed a feasibility study. By August this year, the JPIC-funded transport and traffic study would have been completed. We had an excellent series of meetings the other day, where for both the working, the technical and steering committees, and I think you've begun to see some of the output of this meeting in the papers over the last few days. 5 priority projects have been identified, and the number 1 priority, which is easily implementable and probably the fastest to implement, would be the 4th Mactan Bridge. Why do we need a 4th bridge? First of all, there are many reasons. As you see, the traffic to and from Mactan and the mainland is really increasing. But also the first bridge needs to be rehabilitated. And that's going to take several years. So the plan is to put all the 2 new bridges in place and then begin working on the old bridge. We also need to provide the ability for rail to pass from the mainland into the island. And it looks like there's going to be a separate bridge project for public transport. With the new, it's not going to be they're going to be kind of 2 bridges working side by side. One is the road transport bridge and the other would be the public transport bridge, which would have the AGTs or LRTs passing through. These projects will be funded by JPIC-IDC. We also have, of course, you read about the basket of DOTR solutions to traffic, which we believe are excellent solutions and in fact align to the MEGACEBU recommendations that we've been making and the MEGACEBU recommendations that are coming out in the forthcoming study. There's no one solution for traffic in MEGACEBU. It has to be a basket of solutions, and this must include the soft solutions. It must include improving licensing, for example. As you know, today anyone can get a driver's license. And people who actually get their licenses aren't necessarily qualified to drive. Neither do they understand traffic laws or the implications of the breaking of traffic laws. We can have all the greatest infrastructure in the world, but if our drivers are undisciplined and do not follow traffic laws, then we will still continue to have chaos on our roads. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's been a lot anchored on this very good and excellent roadmap that JPIC-IDC completed, I think, in 2015. It's called the Roadmap for the Integrated Development of MEGACEBU, which even includes land use studies. So, I will end my opening address with a note that what we are trying to do is difficult because it's not easy working in the context of any government bureaucracy and working in the context of political plays. However, as I said, we're here for the long run and we're here for all of Cebu, which includes all of us, our children, and our great-grandchildren, our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. Thank you very much for coming today.